Quentin's plot to poison Kevin and his team with a toxic gas spread by drones fails. Q replaced the poisons with rosewater as part of his own plot to undermine all of his father's booby traps. Quentin jets off on 2 drones while Kevin and his team find the doomsday devices ticking down towards mass destruction. And Kevin knows that the only option he has is to halt them in order to save the Foundation, as well as Lily and his baby. As the team stood before the pulsating core of the doomsday device, a heated debate unfolded amongst its members. "What do you think, Q?" Kevin asked. "How do we turn off the power?" "I'm not sure," Q replied honestly. "I helped design the control functions, but this is engineering. I'm out of my depths down here." Olivia and Zane Barlow, fueled by a sense of immediacy, suggested a direct and explosive solution. "We can just blow this thing up, right? End the threat right here," Olivia proposed, her gaze fixed on the ominous core. Zane nodded in agreement. "Yeah, a controlled explosion. Take out the doomsday device without risking the whole station." Kevin, however, understood the delicate balance they were dealing with. "We can't afford to take that risk. Blowing up the device might destabilize the station, and we could end up causing more harm than good." Zara, the tech whiz, and Dalton Steele, who had more muscle than brains, though he wasn't without big doses of confidence, huddled around the control panel of the power generator, attempting to breach the device's security protocols. Their fingers danced across the interface as they tried to gain access to the intricate system. "We need to find a way to shut this thing down without resorting to destruction," Zara insisted, her eyes fixed on the screen. Dalton, equally focused, added, "Traffic chain reaction." Olivia crossed her arms, frustration etched across her face. "We don't know how much time we have before this thing fires. We can't afford to stand around and debate." Kevin, torn between the urgency of the situation and the potential risks, contemplated the best course of action. "Let's keep trying to hack into the controls," Kevin proposed, his voice measured but resolute. "If we can disable it without resorting to destruction, that's our best option." The team, each member grappling with the weight of their decision, refocused their efforts. The control room hummed with tension as Zara and Dalton continued their attempts to breach the doomsday device's intricate security. As the team faced the dilemma of whether to dismantle or destroy the doomsday device, the fate of the Foundation hung in the balance, and the final moments of their struggle against Quentin Covington drew near. Kevin stepped over to Brett, still recovering from his recent stab wound. "How are you feeling?" "Good," Brett replied. "Don't worry about me." Kevin next turned to Q. "You did the right thing." Q nodded. "It won't matter if we can't figure out how to shut down my father's doomsday device." "Stay positive," Kevin responded. "We've got time." Just then, a large countdown clock appeared on the screen ahead. Kevin's eyes went wide at the sight. "What is that?" Olivia spotted it too. "A countdown clock? Why? What just happened?" Time began to run off the clock. 60 minutes and counting. 59. 58. A hushed silence fell over the control room as Kevin turned to Q. Urgency etched across his face. "Q, we need to know how to stop this countdown. And what triggered it in the first place?" Q's expression darkened and he hesitated before delivering the unsettling revelation. He checked the nearby readout screen. "The countdown was initiated by the launch of the space pods." "Space pods?" Dalton repeated. Q did his best to explain. "It's all the wealthy families who have paid to live on Silky after the doomsday device has flooded the Earth. They're on their way from Earth. My father must have realized that we tried to dismantle his machine and he sped up the process. Once those pods successfully dock with the space station, the doomsday device will activate automatically, firing its heat ray and melting the polar ice caps." The gravity of Q's words hung heavy in the air. The countdown clock, ticking away ominously, now bore the weight of the impending catastrophe it represented. The team had just under an hour, a mere 57 minutes, to thwart the launch, disable the Doomsday device, and prevent the apocalyptic vision Quentin Covington sought to unleash. Kevin's mind raced as he processed the urgency of the situation. We have to find a way to stop those space pods from docking. If we can disable the Doomsday device and intercept the pods, we might have a chance to avert disaster. Q nodded, a sense of shared responsibility in his eyes. I'll do what I can to help. Time is not on our side. With newfound determination, the team focused on the dual objectives: disabling the Doomsday device and intercepting the incoming space pods. Zara and Dalton intensified their efforts to breach the device's controls, while Olivia, Zane, Brett, the Myriads, and the Radiance fighters prepared for the impending mission to intercept the space pods. The countdown clock continued its relentless descent, marking each passing second as the team raced against time. The fate of Earth, held in precarious balance, depended on their ability to navigate the complex web of threats that Quentin Covington had woven. The final hour had begun, and the struggle for the Foundation reached its most critical juncture. Just then, Kevin had an idea. He turned to Q. If we can't disable the Doomsday device from here, maybe I could just pull the motherboard. If it didn't have a brain, it couldn't fire, right? Q, understanding the dangerous nature of the task, hesitated before responding. I'm not sure, and that's not going to be easy either. The motherboard is in a small, supercooled compartment. Only one person can fit at a time, and there's a chance you could freeze to death down there before you were ever able to find the board. Without a moment's hesitation, Kevin stepped forward. We don't have time to be afraid. They'll keep working on breaking through the security protocols up here, and I'll go down and see if I can take out the motherboard. If one of us succeeds, we all succeed. Q nodded solemnly, acknowledging the gravity of Kevin's decision. I'll guide you through from here. The team, though filled with a sense of foreboding, rallied behind Kevin. He descended into the cooled compartment, braving the freezing conditions that awaited him below. The countdown clock continued its relentless march toward potential catastrophe, adding to the urgency of the moment. As Kevin navigated the depths of the Doomsday device, guided by Q's instructions, the team above ground intensified their efforts to crack the security protocols on the power generator. The fate of Earth and the Foundation hung in the precarious balance, and the sacrifices made by each member of the Resistance underscored the magnitude of their mission. As Kevin descended into the small, freezing cold room housing the motherboard, the atmosphere grew colder, and a sense of foreboding filled the air. The dim lights flickered and then abruptly went out, plunging Kevin into total darkness. The lights went out, Kevin called out. No one replied. He was all alone. In the eerie silence, the light suddenly returned, revealing an unexpected presence in the cramped compartment. A figure, cloaked in shadows, stood before Kevin. The Night King, Kevin whispered to himself. The otherworldly sage stood right in front of Kevin and spoke in low, soothing tones. Kevin, you must stop the Doomsday device to save the one you hold dear, your beautiful wife, Lily. But be warned, even if you save her, another threat looms in Chicago. The words hung heavy in the frigid air, resonating with the weight of an impending destiny. Kevin, grappling with the revelation, asked, What do you mean by another threat in Chicago? The Night King, a silhouette against the backdrop of the motherboard, responded cryptically, I am the guardian of paths untaken, of destinies yet to unfold. The choices you make will determine the fate of those you love. Go, save the world, and then save Lily. Before Kevin could seek further clarification, the lights went out again, enveloping the compartment in darkness. As they flickered back on, the Night King had vanished, leaving Kevin to contemplate the mysterious message. Kevin knew that the Night King's words were always loaded with hidden meanings, but he also never wasted words. Kevin had to remember every syllable that the Night King said. In the frozen confines of the motherboard, Kevin faced not only the imminent threat of the doomsday device, but also the echoes of a future yet to unfold. The countdown clock continued its relentless march, each second a reminder of the critical choices that lay ahead. With determination in his heart and the mysterious words of the Night King lingering in his mind, Kevin pressed on. The fate of the Foundation, of Lily, of his unborn baby, and of humanity rested on his shoulders as he navigated the chilling depths of the doomsday device, propelled by a sense of purpose and the weight of destiny. After Kevin and his team learned from Q that the pods filled with Quentin's billionaire residents had taken off from Earth, and that the doomsday device was initiated, Kevin went into the bowels of Silky to try to halt the machine's countdown to destruction. There, Kevin was met by the Night King, who warned him that though it was important for Kevin to halt Quentin Covington's evil plot, there was also danger lurking in Chicago. Kevin's hands worked swiftly in the freezing cold compartment. He gripped the motherboard but hesitated as thoughts flooded through his mind. What if I'm wrong? Kevin wondered. What if pulling out this motherboard causes the doomsday device to fire? The countdown clock was ticking, less than an hour to go. Kevin waited another moment before his full confidence returned. No, he thought. This is the best option. Our only option. And we're running out of time. Kevin yanked the motherboard from its housing. The lights flickered and a profound stillness settled over the freezing substation. At that moment, the ominous hum of the doomsday device ceased, and the countdown clock went blank, its digital numbers disappearing entirely. Kevin, emerging from the small, cold room, found himself surrounded by the relieved faces of his team. The weight that had pressed on their shoulders lifted, and the imminent threat that loomed over the Foundation had been averted. Did it work? Kevin inquired, doing his best to warm his chilled body. The doomsday device is offline, Zara exclaimed. The countdown clock has stopped entirely. You did it, Kevin, Dalton Steele added excitedly. The team exploded in celebration as they shared a moment of collective relief. Olivia, breaking through the shrieks of joy, stepped over to Kevin and handed him a blanket. So what happens now? The team settled in and waited, curious for Kevin's answer. Kevin, his gaze fixed on the now sleeping doomsday device, responded with a steely resolve. There's only one thing left to do. Let's find Quentin Covington and finish this. A smile formed on the faces of everyone on the team. Dalton, Olivia, Sasha, Kyle, Marcus, Zane, and so many more. They had been with Kevin through so much of his journey to defeat Quentin Covington, and now they could sense this chapter coming to a close. The team, fueled by the adrenaline of their recent success against the Doomsday Machine, prepared to confront the evil mastermind behind it, and put an end to the threat that had plagued them for so long. As they navigated the maze-like corridors of Silky, the weight of their journey hung in the air. Each member of the team carried the scars of their battles, both physical and emotional. The final confrontation awaited, and the fate of the Foundation would be decided in the moments that lay ahead. Kevin, as always, led the charge. The struggle against Quentin Covington had tested him in ways he couldn't have imagined, but he had emerged stronger for it. In his grand master bedroom that befitted the Lord of Silky, Quentin Covington stood alone, a solitary figure with a view of the stars twinkling in the vastness of space. His control monitor displayed an error message, signaling the malfunction of his cherished doomsday device. Rage burned in Quentin's eyes as he realized the extent of his failures. All my maverick warriors are dead. My doomsday device has malfunctioned, and Q, my own son, has betrayed me. Quentin seethed, his voice echoing in the expansive room. The sense of power and control that had defined him now slipped through his fingers, leaving him vulnerable and exposed. He was frantic and unsure what to do next. Should he run or stay to fight? Logic told him it was time to go, but his emotions made him want to hurt anyone and everyone he could. Kevin and his team, having navigated the corridors of Silky, arrived at the entrance of Quentin's bedroom suite. The atmosphere was charged with tension as the adversaries faced each other. "It's over, Quentin," Kevin declared, his tone resolute. "Your plan has failed. The doomsday device is offline, and there's nowhere left for you to run." Quentin, though cornered, retained a defiant glare. "You may have thwarted my plans, but I am not easily defeated. I won't go down without a fight." Quentin took a fighting stance. Q stepped forward. "Father, please. It's time to give up this demented dream. You're better than this." Quentin spit in his son's face. "Who is this person who speaks to me? I don't recognize him." Q's expression sank. Kevin stepped in front of the young man, taking the brunt of Quentin's continued glare. "Don't do this, Quentin. You don't have to die," Kevin offered. Quentin scanned Kevin's massive team. Despite the overwhelming odds stacked against him, the evil billionaire refused to yield. Defiance burned in his eyes. As he weighed his options, a sly smile formed across Quentin's lips. He focused on Kevin. "Do you really need all these men and women to bring me to justice? How about we settle this mano a mano?" The room fell silent as the weight of Quentin's challenge hung in the air. Kevin, guided by a strong sense of honor and justice, considered the proposition. Kevin knew what he had to do. With a measured tone, Kevin responded, "Absolutely." The team, though unsure of the decision, stepped back, creating a clearing in the Grand Master bedroom. Quentin and Kevin faced each other, the air thick with the tension of impending conflict. The countdown clock may have frozen, but time seemed to stretch as the adversaries prepared to settle their differences with a duel that would determine the course of both of their destinies. The fate of Quentin Covington and the legacy of Kevin Williams rested on the outcome of the impending battle. Their final battle. Kevin turned to his team, the allies who had fought alongside him every step of the way. "Get back to the ship. I'll face Quentin alone." "Kevin, no," Olivia pushed back. "We can help." Kevin put his hand on her shoulder. "I know, Olivia, but this is my responsibility. You've all done so much. Now it's time I finish this." Olivia understood. "We'll clear the ship of any lingering personnel," Olivia added. "We can administer your herbal remedies to them so that Quentin's experimentation can be overpowered." Kevin nodded. "Thank you." The team made their way back to their spaceship, leaving Kevin alone in the grand bedroom suite with Quentin. The stars outside continued to flicker and twinkle in the dark void, unaware of the cosmic battle about to unfold within the confines of Silky. Quentin, a smirk on his face, readied himself for the duel. "This is how it should be, Kevin. A battle between two men, settling their differences the old-fashioned way." Kevin rolled up his sleeves. "If that's what you want." Quentin laughed. "The great Kevin Williams. Not so scary without all of your friends." "I'm not here to scare you," Kevin noted. "I'm here to beat you into a pulp with my bare hands." Despite everything that Quentin was, he was still an ordinary. He had no leveling powers, and that meant that Kevin couldn't use his own levels against him in a fight. Kevin would beat Quentin fair, square, and the old-fashioned way. The room, stripped of all external influences, became the stage for the climactic showdown. As Kevin and Quentin circled each other in the Grand Master bedroom, the tension in the air thickened with each passing moment. "Make your move," Kevin exclaimed. "With pleasure." Without warning, Quentin pulled out a tube of something and sprayed it all over Kevin. "What is this?" Kevin shouted. "What are you doing, you scoundrel?" Before Kevin could understand what had happened, Quentin lunged at him, pushing him against the wall. Furious, Kevin went to strike back, but suddenly realized that he couldn't. He was stuck. His back and arms stuck to the wall. But how? Quentin cackled once again. He raised his hand into the air, revealing the tube of super adhesive resin he was now holding. The very substance Kevin had discovered Quentin perfecting in the Amazon. The pulpy, thick substance ensnared Kevin, rendering him immobile as Quentin poured himself a drink. Kevin, now trapped, struggled against the relentless grip of the resin. "You coward! Fight me like a man!" Kevin demanded, his voice strained. Quentin, a maniacal glint in his eyes, chuckled as he sipped his champagne. I'm not stupid enough to actually fight the great Kevin Williams, but you did buy me some time. Quentin, with a sinister smile, accessed the control panel in the room and pressed a sequence of levers and buttons. A station-wide alarm suddenly went off. A new countdown began to self-destruct. 1 minute until total destruction. Panicking against his adhesive prison, Kevin's eyes widened as he realized the gravity of the situation. Quentin, reveling in his triumph, made his escape in an executive shower escape pod. Goodbye, Kevin, Quentin shouted as he strapped himself into the pod. It's a shame to watch this beautiful space station explode, but at least I'll know you'll be blown to pieces when it happens. Quentin, Kevin shouted, we had a deal. I didn't get this far by following the rules, Quentin taunted. I'm going to kill you and your friends, and when I get back to Earth, I'll kill your beautiful wife, too. The pod door slid shut, and Quentin blasted away from the space station. The room echoed with Kevin's futile struggles against the super-adhesive resin as the countdown timer continued its merciless march. The fate of Silky, Earth, and the Foundation, and Lily and Kevin's unborn baby now hung in the balance, and Kevin faced a race against time to free himself and avert the catastrophic fate that awaited them all.